or you chop it up. You cut it up. Can you imagine the other person gets to pay to destroy their opponent team.
I want to get right to business here.
Wow, you're not messing around.
No, I'm focused.
Okay, what do you got?
You had a Duke stream recently.
I did.
You had texted me the results of that, and it seemed like things went pretty well. So I guess before I do have some questions. I do have an idea of potentially kind of taking that one step further. But can you just really quickly recap like how long it was, any sort of takeaways that you had, and also I'm curious like what brought you to the idea of focusing only selling like Duke players. So
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I guess when you look big picture, when I'm choosing to run my streams, I feel like if I don't have a theme, I don't get like kind of a sustained audience. When I do just general sports, people will pop in and out and they kind of go. But when I pick a theme, they tend to stick around. So that's where it started, in that concept. So the show itself went for about an hour and a half. It wasn't very long. Usually I go over 2 hours, mostly because I kind of ran out of inventory. Like everything was going so fast. So it went very well. And honestly, it was one of the most fun shows I've done for me. Um, the banter in the chat was awesome. There's just, you get a lot of true fans, and it was a mix of like modern cards from like Cooper and Khan to like throwback cards like Trajan Langdon, JJ Redick, like older players like Christian Leitner, Bobby Hurley. I had a Danny Ferry Duke card, which people were like, that's more Danny Ferry than I've ever seen. It was just a single card. So like it was super cool. It kind of plays to my interest in the hobby, which is the hunt. I
Mhm.
love the hunt. So every dollar bin I go, if I see a Duke player, I kind of set it aside. Now, why Duke? Like, why? Because I didn't go to Duke. Like, why that one?
Right.
Um, I guess a while back in an NBA stream I was running, and I had general NBA. I ran like a Jason Tatum in a Duke uniform, and I happened to have two guys in my stream who just went back and forth. And they were like, and then as soon as it was over, they're like, "Do you have any more Duke players?" And so, there's a lot of good Duke players. So Zion, Kyrie, like I just went through those. Like my organizational strategy is set up so I can look quickly at it, and I was able to pull a couple Duke players, and just like those, it all went really quick. So I was like, okay. I was like, guys, how about I set up a Duke stream for like a month out, and I'll go hunt some players. Let me know, and then when time to like advertise for it, it's easy. You search people's name with Duke in it or Blue Devil in it, and you just kind of send them the stream, and I end up with like 20 to 30, pretty much all stream, and everything kind of got bid a few bucks up. I mean, I had in terms of start prices, I had a standard $2 start for most items, like top loaded decent items. So I had like a Kyrie Irving rookie that I started at $2, and it went at a number that I was very happy with. Um, and then I had some backwall stuff that I started at $5. And then I had these lower end cards that were very Duke specific, like very like I think they might be from Duke itself.
Mhm.
But I started those at three for $3. So like a buck each for those because they were a little bit lower end. And honestly, between the like actual sales that occurred and the kind of banter on the stream, like a bunch of North Carolina people came in too and were kind of like heckling in a fun way, which makes me think my next stream. And actually, if you look at my shows that I have coming up, I have a few different rivalry streams now. So I have an Ohio State Michigan rivalry stream, and I'm going to do another North Carolina Duke stream. And it kind of helps me buy, to be honest. Like it helps me focus when I go to card shows or card shops what I'm looking for, because I'm kind of all over the map. So it helps me like get ready for my next
Narrow
shows.
your focus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that actually, um, it sounds like you've already thought of this, but I was thinking of a way of like, enhancing it and doing a rivalry stream. So it sounds like you already thought of
Yeah.
that. But so in your plan there, do you plan on, um, when you run a particular card, would you maybe run two and do like a UNC next to a Duke and let them pick one? So let the winner pick.
Oh, interesting.
Because
Um,
I saw what gave me that idea was obviously the conversation about your Duke stream, but I had yesterday when I was on Whatnot, there was this guy who had 6 cards on a back wall and they were numbered. So you could see, it was numbered 1 through 6. And the winner would pick their card. And
so you
then
don't get both. You get your choice of the two
you get your
or the
choice. So,
six.
and I guess I feel like, you had mentioned that UNC people came in or UNC fans came in and kind of
Yeah.
playfully
Yeah.
heckled the crew. So that might just be a fun way of playing into it of, UNC fans, you're going to let them grab this, Bobby Hurley. You're going to let them win this Bobby Hurley. Come on, like,
I feel
I don't know.
like, well, there have to be a catch to it in that, like then you don't run that Duke card later. Like, or like you don't run the North Carolina card almost. So like there is a winning component to it.
Or
Um,
or or you chop it up. You cut it up.
I can't. Yeah.
Can you imagine the
I
other
just
person
can't
gets to
shoot cards like that.
pay to destroy their opponent team.
That's
That
kind of
feels
amazing.
wrong, but
That
it's
would be
actually
amazing. If
pretty
you if
interesting.
you pick the one they got the card they wanted, but the other one has to get destroyed.
Ooh, I
That would
kinda
be
like
cool.
that, Matt.
Yeah.
I don't. I might try that on one like lower end card. Like I don't know. Um,
You could buy a
Wow.
special pair of
I
scissors that
do.
were all flashy
So okay.
or
I mean,
burn it.
I'm
Oh
not.
my gosh, imagine having, like, a little metal tin and
And you
burning it.
burned it. I love
I
this.
I don't know,
It's
Dude,
a
I
that
pretty
well,
funny idea.
I would be so excited to tune in.
So I'll tell you what, Joe.
Oh, do
I'll
it.
try it. I'll
Okay.
try it.
Let me
Mike,
know
I'll
when you're gonna
start
do
it.
it. I want
Yeah, I
in. I wanna
definitely
see
wanna
this.
watch that.
I'm doing Ohio State, Michigan. I have that up on my stream, so I'll try it then. I also, Mike, I like your idea of not just destroying the other card. But I'll try like a couple competitive bidding, which you only get one of two, and to put one Michigan, one Duke. For the most part, like I want to sell the cards, so I don't want to like take things off the board, or destroy them. But um, yeah. So you're
You know
saying they get
sorry, go ahead.
one and they destroy the other. The winning bid gets one, and I get to destroy the other.
Mhm.
Oh, I mean, if you're that is a cool idea, and I mean, because the other thing too, Matt, is that could still be profitable for you. Like I'm not saying
And
that
less
that's
shipping. And less shipping.
well, yeah, that's true. It's less. I mean, essentially, people are paying potentially they're overpaying for a particular card so that you destroy the other card,
I
right? Like that's the
okay.
idea.
I get it. It's funny and it's kind of fun, like overall. But is it like disrespectful to the card community? Like, should we be destroying cards?
I
You're
that's
such a nerd, of course. This is
No,
this
but
is
I
not
do
a
agree with that
no-brainer.
question, and that was the first kind of thought that popped in my head when you brought up this, and it is a great idea, Joe. So I guess I'm very conflicted because I do believe that destroying a card would not be great. So maybe what you do is you just do that at like towards the end, and you
Yeah,
just
I
do it
think the
once.
final one, I do it once and I do it with like bad cards. So like, and it's just the
No,
spirit of
they
like
kind of got
you.
to be like big names though.
Yeah,
All
I
right,
Maybe
all
agree.
not
right,
like
but like,
cool inserts, but like they've got to be some decent,
all right,
like
what
some
if
high
so
level
it's
names.
so if Michigan, Ohio State, what if I do Tom Brady and
Are you doing any
um
particular sport? Like, are you doing all sports
well,
or?
it's mostly when you talk Ohio State, Michigan, it's mostly football, but
Yeah, because
you could
my head
like
went to when you said Michigan, I instantly went to like Chris Webber.
yeah, yeah. No, and I'm gonna do basketball as well. Like I'm gonna do all sports that I can kind of get that have names. But there's like not many Ohio State basketball players.
Right.
Um but I was thinking like Eddie George and Tom Brady. Like I get some low end ones of those. And
Yeah.
it's basically probably Eddie George is probably the biggest name similar era to Tom Brady. So like those could be decent rivals.
Yeah, I do think if you do this, you should definitely experiment with just doing it once, because
Yeah,
I do think it is a good point. Like avid collectors would be very
they
offended.
could be turned off by this. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, and it is
I'm not
strange.
100% gonna do it, but I like the idea, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna think about it.
Essentially, what you're doing is you're holding a card hostage, and you're saying, "Pay tons of money, or your favorite player is gonna die." Right? Like
Yeah, I mean,
Or
that's
the
what I
card,
feel
not the
like
person.
it's great in a rivalry stream. That's just what you do, you know?
Yeah,
Like, you could
it is
I
kind of
think it
cool,
I'm
and
would
I do like the idea of lighting it on fire. Just don't like burn your
I'm
house
gonna
down or
ask
your
Snake
I
home.
know,
Guys. I'm gonna
well-ventilated
ask some of my
area.
guys. I'm gonna put it out to some of my guys and ask them what they think. Snake Eyes, D Lava, some of my other streamers that I chat with a lot. Um, and I don't know, I'll get feedback. I just don't want to like kind of I do enjoy the community of this, and I don't really want to disrespect the community. So that's my worry.
Can I ask two more quick follow-up questions on
Sure.
this Duke stream before we move on to the next thing?
Sure.
I'm curious if you did anything in particular to advertise or promote this stream, because obviously it's very niche, and I didn't know
Um,
how you did that.
I just sought out. I just shared the stream with my other Duke buyers. Like I've had 3 different Duke buyers that really bid up a lot of things. So I shared it with them. And then just I went into different streams, and anyone who was asking for any Duke players, I kind of shared it with them. So I mean I put these shows like a month out so that I can kind of build up a little bit of a base. Because you're right. If you don't have anyone in, then they'll be like, what are you doing? I don't want any of these players. Like um yeah, like Trajan Langdon really doesn't have pull in an NBA stream, but he has got a lot of pull in a Duke stream. Um, so yeah, so I really it was more about directly messaging people who I think would be interested in sending them my stream.
And did you happen to notice any particular players that did well? Like I know you mentioned the Kyrie Irving did well, but did you notice any patterns in particular within that maybe are other players like separate from the Duke stream that like maybe now you would start to add to the repertoire of sales because of this stream?
Nothing new. So like Cooper and Khan do well now because they're
Yeah,
big
sure.
rookies. So those I mean I had probably 7 of the same card. It was a first Topps Chrome uh, Con Knipple, like just a basic silver, and selling the same card over and over again, the same stream is usually a no-no. Um, but honestly, so many people wanted Con, they kept jumping in, and that's where like the Duke stream is interesting because everyone knows Cooper and Con went to Duke, and they are hot names, so people would jump in who aren't my normal followers just because of the algorithm would drive them there because that's who they're looking for, and um, so I got a lot of that. So I got a lot of repeat stuff of that. I mean, Elton Brand, there was a little bit Elton Brand resurgence, but it's really because it was a Duke stream, and it was because I had a cool autograph and a cool die cut. Like the cards were kind of unique, not just a generic paper old Elton Brand. It was some cooler cards. So like, and I had a lot of autographs. So like low end autographs within this theme is pretty good. I also had some newer players like I didn't really know about. I guess I'm not really up to speed with the um like current team. Like I know Boozer is a player, but I didn't know a couple others. Like, and I had some decent current players as well that kind of surprised me when they bid them up. Um,
Mhm.
so like yeah, so like Isaiah Evans, I guess like he is someone who I now know of as like a player in demand who's on the current Duke roster.
Mm. That's interesting. Okay, so that's good. And then, sorry, I know I said I only had 2 more. I do have 1 more. What would you say your highest number of participants in that hour and a half that you ran that, or yeah, ran that stream? What was your high number of participants? What was your low?
So I broke 30. I
Oh,
think
wow,
I
for
think I
Nick,
got up to
that's
like
wild.
37, something like that. Which but not for long. Like I
Sure.
wasn't in the 30s long. Most of the show I was in the 20s. And then towards the end, when like people got their stuff, it was down in the like high teens. It was like 14 to 18, which is not uncommon for my shows. And I had my hardcore bidder still there, so I felt good about it. But it was probably the most active the chat had been, and it's also because, and the reason I picked this day is because Duke played North Carolina on the same day. Um,
Oh, I
so
love that idea. Yeah.
yeah, so I got a lot of people in, I think, because of that excitement. And that also brought some North Carolina people in. And I would say, like, I had people I didn't send it to. Like, I love the Duke, like, Duke niche. I'm psyched you guys are running a stream just about this. So I think I picked up some followers, and I did a lot of giveaways. It might have been the most followers I've picked up in a single show on giveaways.
Yeah.
So I felt like every now and then I question the giveaway thing, but I
Yeah.
also stuck with only Duke players in that. But I took Duke players without Duke uniforms, so like generic Zions, generic Kyries, Tatum's, things like that. And those were my giveaways. And I got a lot of people. What's clear in the 37, they didn't all stay, but they came and went. So I got a lot of followers that way. And it was probably the most effective giveaway to follower ratio that I've had.
Right. All right. So that I'm surprised by the fact that for such a niche topic that you had, that you broke 30. I struggled to break 30 anyway, so that's pretty cool. I definitely I forget when we last spoke about it, but remember, Joe, you had asked us like would we like show our face to like make it more engaging, things like that. But
Yep.
to me, this is an interesting topic because there's so much potential for ways to make it more engaging. And like the idea that you lined it up with the UNC Duke game is like such a good idea. And I do wonder, like, would it make sense to have a second camera view? And I don't know how people do it, but they're able to do like some sort of split screen stream where you just have the Duke UNC game on silently. So if people don't, obviously they can watch it at home if they want. But like the idea of selling cards related to the game, the theme, but also kind of watching the game as a community so people can also comment on the game. I wonder if that will make it a more unique, fun experience beyond just the buying and selling of the cards.
So I intentionally ran it before the game. I ran it at
To
four
build up.
o'clock. Yeah, and I ran it, and it's a 6:30 tip off. I actually thought it was a 6 o'clock tip off, but um, the I some of the people that I bought from me before specifically said like you got to be done by the game. So I feel like it's so niche that like those people want to focus on the game, and
Right.
because I'm selling, like no one wants um like Marvin Bagley, like Duke, or like cards right now. Like he's not a hot player, but he was very good at Duke. So like people in the hardcore Duke people want him. So then I feel like if you're competing with the actual game itself, you lose those hardcore fans.
Right.
Um, and I wouldn't recommend it. Now, there's other big games like Super Bowl. You might like something like that might be the case because if you're just focused on like the big players and you have good cards, but not necessarily focused on those markets that you need them to like buy it all up, then maybe that could be cool. Um, but if you look at my current shows, like I have a lot of things the day of. Like I have a WNBA show on the day of the WNBA draft. I have a baseball show on the first day of you know the baseball season kicks off.
Yeah.
So I think tying those events in bring demand to what we're selling, but I don't know if you want to directly compete with the game itself.
Well, maybe, yeah, I think you're right about the game, but maybe the draft would be a good one to experiment because that you could have as kind of the ongoing background,
Yeah.
because that would be
Yep.
kind of cool if somebody got drafted and you're able to be like, this person just got picked up by blah 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 team, and then I don't know. So that's you've got me thinking, Matt. You've got me thinking. I'm really interested in doing a UNC stream because that connects to Jordan, so I could throw
Yep.
Jordan, the UNC Jordan cards in there, but then obviously expand. For the sake of time, because we went a little bit longer on that than I planned, but that was you've given me quite a bit, Matt. So thank you.
Oh, you're
Can
welcome.
I can I bring up two nothing to do with cards topics that I just want to
Oh,
they're quick,
please,
but I just
please.
I mainly
Joe hated the cards topic.
Yes. Oh my God. Let's go.
sorry. Yeah, because we definitely nerded out on like whatnot and Duke and strategy and niche and all that. So
Oh,
Can I
sorry.
go
sorry.
one? Can I make? Can I
I
hammer
zoned
home?
right out. Go
Hold on.
ahead.
Can I just hammer home one more point about that and why
As
you
long
Oh
as
should
boy.
Joe's
do
okay
these
with
sort
it.
of? Yeah.
Okay.
Hold
Go
on. It
ahead.
was
Go
just
ahead.
generally fun. Like the chat and the banter was
Sounds it.
like
Yeah.
legitimately fun. So you should try a themes show. All right. Go ahead.
Love it. Well, essentially, I do. I just do the same thing every time, Jordan's, right? So
True
I've just got
joy.
to, yeah. And to be honest, I have fun doing that, but I can totally see why a niche show would be more engaging and more fun. So I love it. But for the sake of Joe's sanity and time, I want to bring up two forms of content that I'm curious if you two are aware. And if you're not, you should probably check it out. One's a movie, one's a rapper, and I'd like to
Oh
just bring it up because, all right, so I'll start with the quicker one first. Have you two heard of Connor Price?
yes.
Okay, so
No.
you're aware. What is what's the consensus on this dude? And I will tell you about him in a second, Joe, because I know you said no. But like, is he considered cool? Is he I listened to him for the first time last night and thought, is this the next Eminem? And I know that even asking that question offends
Oh.
so many people.
Oh my God. Uh, we.
He's
Is he a
incredible.
white dude?
All right.
He's a
Yeah.
short little white dude, right?
Huh.
I shouldn't say short little. He's probably taller than me, so that's like
He kind of
speaking
broke
for
out.
myself.
He started doing YouTube stuff. It was YouTube, I think, first.
Yeah, he's like he was a streamer. I think you're right, Matt. I think he started out as just kind of like a streamer and then became a rapper that tours and does well. But like, all right, have you heard Matt? Have you heard the song "Scoop"?
My kids and I have listened to Connor Price for several years, almost to the point
Whoa!
where we almost got Rye tickets to his concert
Wow.
for a birthday present at one point.
So listen, it's kind of wild that you've known about him for years because literally last night was the first night I had ever heard of him. But I heard the song. I forget like how I came across his stuff, but I heard the song
But let me
"Scoop."
go back though. I don't think he's considered cool. So I'll elaborate. But go ahead.
Okay, well then, so from my perspective as a person, so Joe, I would first recommend that you just do a quick, after this show, you just check out Connor Price, check out his song "Scoop," and if you don't like that
Okay.
song, then you probably don't like his stuff. But that's a great. What happened to me was I saw him on social media. I think it was like Facebook or YouTube or something, and just scrolling. I saw his. It was like a 30-second short and he was rapping for the song "Scoop," and it was an interesting video, and it was a cool sounding song, so much so that I ended up going to Amazon Music and looking it up, and I absolutely loved the song. And then I started listening to his other stuff, and quite honestly, there wasn't a song I didn't enjoy. And then like a little teeny bopper fan, I started to read the lyrics as he was rapping, and I'm thinking to myself, like, he's not only are these like great beats and really cool songs, but he's actually great. Like the raps he's writing are freaking awesome. Like they're really they all have a clever twist. Every line was thoughtful and clever, and they all went well together. It was cool. So I'm gonna go on record and say that I actually do think that if there's a stigma out there that maybe I'm just not aware of because I'm just uncovering him now, I think he's very, very talented. And I think people got to let go of the fact that maybe he was a streamer to start. I think he's legit. I think Connor Price is legit an impressive rapper.
Okay. So I mean, we grew up with hip hop. That's our era, and like the '90s were awesome for hip hop, and then so we have a history of listening to a lot of rap over the years. However, I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't pretend to say that I'm an expert on the topic because, like, I don't know everything about cadence and flow and like the different beats they choose. I will say I'm entertained when I listen to Connor Price. I think he has talent. But when we talk cool, that's a totally different discussion because my kids loved him as a performer. Then they hit 12 years old and they stopped liking him and they moved on to more mainstream current hip hop. And so, like, I think I don't think it's his intentional target, but his like following is like 9 to 12, like in that range. And that's who likes him. And
and
my kids have
42.
moved on.
And
Yeah, that
42.
aligns with Mike's tastes. His
That's
taste
my
buds
maturity
are like
level,
9
9 through
and 12.
12.
Yes, his maturity level. Right, right. So
But
that's why it
that
works
that
out.
is mean because I enjoy his music. Like I actually, when it
Yeah.
comes on, I like it. And like some of my TikTok stuff, like I've put Connor Price is like the background music to when I'm showing a few cards.
Mhm.
There's some really I think again his flow, his cadence, like I like the beats he uses. Like lyrically, I think he's pretty talented. Like but I don't know what makes some mainstream legitimate or considered like a joke with adults or not.
Right.
I just am telling you my reaction to my kids moving on from him. He feels like a little kid rapper, and that feels mean and unfair, but that's what it appears in my house.
Yeah, and I think that's probably like a PR issue on his part, like a marketing issue, right? Like he's got like a shtick that like draws in 9 to 12-year-olds. But I think if you can put that aside, like what I would love to know, because I do agree with you, Matt, like I share the perspective of like, I'm in no way an expert. I don't know. I wouldn't be the compass to decide what's a great rapper, what's not. All I know is when I listen to it, it's an awesome beat and I enjoy it. But then when I read the lyrics, I'm also impressed with like, wow, like every line had a cool, like clever, it was like a cool, clever delivery in that they all were like little, there was references throughout, but they
Yeah,
sounded
like
awesome.
it's all like similes, like everything's like something
Yes.
else, but it also feels too much a little bit. Like if you listen to all the stuff, like that's like all he does.
Okay, fair enough. So maybe if I get
Mhm.
to know him more as a rapper, maybe eventually I'll go, yeah, he's a one trick pony and it's the same thing. As of right now, I'm gonna say that I'm baby stepping into a Connor Price um uh phase. I'm
Stalking,
gonna
stalking,
huh?
like Connor Price stalking, or just like curious.
I'm not going to stalk him. I don't want to get to know him as a human. I just want to listen to his
Mm.
music and kind of dig into that. I mean, sure, if I saw him, I'd probably say hello and, whatever. But okay, so that was one thing. So thank you for hearing
And
me on that.
I'll interject and just say I will give this a listen, and I'll report back in next episode on
Thank you.
what my opinions are. So
I'll
we'll follow
send you
up with
guys
this.
a list of the hits,
Oh
and you
boy.
guys can listen to them.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's good. And then I also felt like too, I ended up once I started digging into his stuff, there were like a few other featuring artists that then I've like flagged for later. But anyways, okay, so that's one. And then the second one is now a movie reference. Have either of you seen the movie Dead of Winter? It's on HBO.
I have not.
No.
So you guys got to watch this ASAP. You've got to it takes
As
an
soon as
action
possible,
movie.
just in case people don't know what ASAP means, it's as soon as possible.
Ah,
People
thank you.
don't generally know
Yeah.
what ASAP means.
Sorry. Yeah.
Out of
Okay.
all the references you guys are using, ASAP needed to be explained? Really?
Yeah.
All right.
uh,
Seriously.
okay, so here's what I liked about, or like what drew me to it, that it's just a movie, it's like nothing I've ever seen. So it's an action movie where it is a like the protagonist is trying to save a kidnapped girl. However, what makes this movie
Is Liam
unique is
Neeson in it?
no, and that's what I'm saying. This is what makes it unique. The protagonist is Emma Thompson. She's like the lead that, and she plays like a woman in her mid 70s, and she is the action hero in this. And she's got that Minnesota accent, so she's like, "Oh, how are you?" Like I did not do well
Does
with
she
it.
do the Liam Neeson
Oh,
particular set of skills in a
oh
No,
god.
Minnesota?
no, all right. So this is what I loved about the movie, and
If
I and
one
I
of you
sh-
guys could do that in a Minnesota accent, that would be fantastic.
oh, how about
Don't you
that?
know?
Oh, don't you
A
know? Thank you.
particular set of skills. That was terrible.
Oh.
So but I guess the reason why I bring it up, so interestingly enough, the reviews on the movie were not great. But I don't care about that because I'm my own person and I can form my own opinion. But I felt
Connor
like
Price.
yeah, exactly. It was it, the whole time she played this it was so realistic. Like she was how you would expect a person in their mid 70s to respond to a terrible situation. She like would get out of her car and be like have to like stretch her back out because she was sore because she's a 75-year-old person, right? So
I mean, I do
it,
that at 45. So
well, yeah, I mean, exactly. But like, and so at no point did she, I think what the movie did right, at no point did she become, how sometimes they'll make people like all of a sudden it's like, wait, they're really good at fighting now. They played like somebody who's not at all like a trained fighter. And now by the end, they're like, they've got a gun and they're amazing soldiers. At no point did they do that, and yet they made it clear. The movie made it clear like why she was so persistent and why she ended up being so capable, despite the fact that she does not fit the demo at all of what we
there
would
was
expect
no
from a typical action
reveal
movie.
of a like secret skill set. No
Well,
reveal of that.
I'm not gonna share because I don't want to hurt the moviegoer experience, but I will say that
Is there a
it was
reveal?
um
Not what it is, but is there a reveal?
no. No,
I like reveals.
I know it's a movie that the thing I liked about it is it didn't try to overcomplicate. It didn't try to that I think sometimes I feel like movies nowadays there's an agenda, right? They're trying to like do like roles that kind of defy traditional, like if it's traditionally like a male role, they'll throw females in there and that's fine. That's all good. But this one, they did it well because the agenda didn't take over the story, right? Like the story of the movie line was still fun to watch and it was cool. And then the antagonists, the bad ones, there were two of them. That dynamic was also pretty fascinating. So when I saw that, I immediately thought like this is interesting because it is very much a linear action story, beginning, middle, and end, in the way that you'd expect it, and yet it was completely different in terms of what you would expect from an action movie, and therefore
Now, what was the
I think it's
demographic of the antagonists? Was it like a squirrel and a moose,
So it was
or
a
like what
couple.
are we talking here?
It was a
Oh, okay.
man and a woman, and they were probably in their 40s or 50s. So in our ballpark,
Mm-hmm.
and you got to know a little bit about their motivations, but not like the movie didn't go super deep because it was like only a 90-minute, maybe 100-minute movie, so they didn't try too hard, and I felt like that made it better. But anyways, yeah. So the reviews were like a 6.1 out of 10. So but I'm surprised by that. I can see a lot of people who want like that masculine action movie being disappointed by that movie. Um, I don't need that in every movie. In this case, I thought it was like, wow, this is just a unique take on an action movie, something I've never seen before. So Dead of Winter, Emma Thompson, I would recommend it.
All
And
right.
then maybe you
So
guys can report back on that as well, along
yeah,
with
that's two
Connor
things
Price.
now I got to report back on: a movie and a rapper. Jeez. Okay.
Apparently, I got to watch the movie. Okay, I'll figure it out.
All right.
I had
All
other
right.
topics, but I feel like we've hit our time.
I
I think
believe we
so
have.
too.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, we have. We have. All right. Well, this was fun. I'm looking
I still
forward.
kind of wonder about that last episode conversation in Midlife Crisis. Does Connor Price put another check in the box for Mike because he's going to like 12-year-old rap music?
I
Mm,
like rap though. Like I just like all sorts of music.
Okay,
yeah,
all right.
I
Well,
don't.
we
I
don't
don't
need
I
to
know.
feel like
talk
lately
about
I've been
it.
listening to 2000s pop punk. Like so this
Ooh.
rap thing is actually like changing my the direction of my
Your
show.
landscape, your musical landscape.
What's the popular music genre we don't listen to? It's a pop style with all the young ladies from
K-pop,
yeah, K-pop.
Korean
K-pop.
pop.
Yeah, are you into
What
that?
about it?
Is that what it stands for?
I feel
Korean
like it's
pop?
all
I
just
don't
like
even know.
I don't know anything about it, but if I hear it and it's a good little beat, I won't turn it off. But no, I
Do
don't.
you feel like it's inappropriate for you to even listen to that music because of your age and their age?
No.
Well, not
Listening to music
inappropriate, but
is
I probably wouldn't like blast it out the windows as I like drive.
you pull up to a red light and you turn
Like
it way down so no one knows you're listening to K-pop. I know. Yeah, okay. Or just
All right, well,
why can't you own that? I don't know. Just turn it
Can
up
can we can
really
we wrap
loud.
it up on like a food
Yep,
for
let's
thought for
wrap it up.
next time?
Yeah,
Can
sure.
you guys? I'm looking for another player. Back to retro ripping. I'm looking for another player to target. I currently have Jordan, Kobe, and Allen Iverson, and I would like to at some point in a future episode talk about if I were to bring in a fourth focus. I'm kind of thinking Vince Carter, but I
Yes.
want more input from people when we have more time to dig in. So we'll leave it on that.
Yeah. All right. I'll spend some
All
time
right.
researching.
All right. Love you guys
All
forever, no
right.
matter what.
All right. Love you. All
Love
right.
you.
Bye.